What's up, builders? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're counting down the absolute best base building games you need to play right now. We've done the research, crunched the numbers, and ranked them based on real player reviews and ratings. From survival horror to factory automation, we've got something for everyone. So buckle up, because we're starting from the bottom and working our way to the #1 base building game that's absolutely dominating right now. Let's dive in. Dungeons & Kingdoms throws you into a genre mashup that blends deep kingdom building with Souls-like dungeon delving. A genre mashup that takes kingdom building and smashes it together with Souls-like dungeon delving. This is the first game from Canadian solo developer Lincoln McCulloch, and it's ambitious as hell. You're leading a ragtag group of refugees fleeing an unlivable homeland, making landfall in a new fantasy world where you need to build everything from scratch. But here's the twist. This isn't just about managing a settlement. You'll also be diving into dangerous dungeons in third-person action RPG combat to unlock the resources and technology your kingdom needs to advance. The building system is incredibly robust with over 500 modular pieces to work with. You can construct everything yourself piece by piece, or lay down blueprints and give orders to your loyal colonists who'll do the heavy lifting. Design homes, craft tools, build farms, shelters, forges, mines, marketplaces, towers, temples, and entire infrastructure networks. Every building you create can be saved as a blueprint and shared via Steam Workshop, so the community can trade designs and inspire each other. But what really sets this apart is the terrain manipulation. You're not just placing buildings, you're reshaping the world itself. Paint lush, grassy, and forest areas, or remove vegetation to make room for roads and buildings. Smooth out land to facilitate farming, create moats around your castle for defense, raise hills to place archer towers on, build valleys to ward off intruders, and flatten areas to optimize your layout. It's city building meets landscape architect simulator. The survival and management side is deep. You'll forage and farm for food to keep villagers alive, manage their needs, harvest resources, hunt wild beasts to feed your people, and navigate realistic full day and night cycles through changing seasons. You'll need to protect roads from outlaws and raiders, defend your lands, and project your kingdom's power. There's hardship, illness, and death. Families genuinely struggle to survive, making every decision feel weighty. Then there are the dungeons. Discover ancient ruins and temples scattered across the land and face the monsters within. We're talking big worm creatures, nasty demons, and dragons, all in methodical, slow-paced, Souls-like combat that tests your timing and skill. Explore every room, defeat dungeon bosses, and reap rewards that directly impact your kingdom. The loot you find and the bosses you defeat unlock unique resources and tech upgrades that you can't get anywhere else. It's not just about combat for combat's sake. Every dungeon run has a purpose. You can also attract legendary heroes to join your cause, customize your party, and choose different adventuring playstyles. Combat happens in third-person action RPG style, giving you that hands-on connection to battles rather than watching from above. The art style has that angular, low-poly charm similar to Valheim, emerald plains stretching into the distance, vibrant fantasy environments, and a gorgeous aesthetic that ties the whole experience together. PC Gamer called it two great tastes to see if they taste great together. A medieval kingdom sim mashed up with Souls-like dungeon delving. The game already includes most core features like modular base building, party customization, trading, village management, day and night cycles, survival mechanics, and sandbox mode. Early access is planned for about a year and a half, with the full version promising a story mode campaign, playable races, co-op multiplayer, modding support, and more. For base builders who've always wanted their settlement sim to have a meaningful combat loop, or dungeon crawlers who want to see their loot actually build something tangible, Dungeons & Kingdoms might be the perfect marriage you've been waiting for. Climbing up one spot.
Dude, stop acting so crazy.
Shouldn't have come here.
I swear, this all ends with me, right here, right now.
Unhinged traps you on a retro-futuristic island where the real threat isn't hunger or thirst, it's your own mind. This isn't your typical survival game. Unhinged bills itself as a sanity-first survival craft simulator, and that's not marketing fluff. It's the core mechanic. You're trapped in a bizarre corporate experiment, stuck on an island controlled by a high-tech corporate giant, and you need to survive mind-bending trials while maintaining your grip on reality. The tagline says it all. Hunger won't kill you, but losing your mind will. The sanity system is genuinely complex, one of the most intricate ever seen in survival games. You're managing brain chemical imbalances, not just food bars. Push yourself too hard, ignore your mental health, or expose yourself to the wrong stimuli, and you risk becoming, well, unhinged. It's survival horror meets psychological thriller, wrapped in a crafting simulator. But the building system is where creativity meets insanity. You'll construct modular machines, vehicles, and contraptions from blocks. Think of it as physics-based engineering where your creativity literally determines your survival. Need to traverse dangerous terrain? Build a custom vehicle. Want to automate resource gathering? Design a machine that does it for you. The game gives you the tools, your imagination and sanity do the rest. Base building and automation are deeply integrated. You can set up bases connected with pipes and conveyors to automate tasks, freeing you to focus on exploration and staying mentally stable. Harvest electricity, expand your footprint across the island, and create increasingly sophisticated systems as you unlock new technologies. The crafting is systemic and experimental. You can freely experiment with ingredients to cook food, brew tea, and synthesize drugs. Every craft teaches you something new, and the results range from lethal failures to superhuman breakthroughs. It's a chemistry set meets survival game, where knowledge is power and mistakes can be catastrophic or hilariously useful. Scattered across the island are corporate trials, bizarre games designed to test your resourcefulness. These aren't optional side quests, they're obstacles you must overcome using every tool, machine, and contraption you've built. It's part cube, part saw, but with more engineering and less dismemberment. You'll explore dangerous biomes, scavenge for resources, maintain a balanced diet, confront unsettling entities, and fight to keep your sanity intact. The retro-futuristic aesthetic gives everything a weird, off-kilter vibe, like if Aperture Science from Portal ran a deadly reality show on a remote island. The game is entering early access, which means the developers plan to actively engage with the community through playtests and feedback. They're building this brutal experience alongside players, evolving it based on what drives people mad in the best way. If you've ever wanted a survival game that challenges your mind as much as your resource management skills, where building a working contraption feels like a genuine breakthrough, and where maintaining mental health is as crucial as finding food, Unhinged is the corporate death game you didn't know you needed. Moving forward, let's check out Light No Fire drops you into one Earth-sized fantasy world where every player shares the same procedurally generated planet. And yes, this is from the creators of No Man's Sky. Think about that scale for a second, not multiple servers, not instanced zones. One single planet the size of Earth filled with diverse biomes, mountains, oceans, continents, and countless secrets. Hello Games is billing this as the first real open world and a scale never attempted before. Every mountain can be climbed, every ocean can be crossed, and somewhere out there are vistas and continents that perhaps no one else has seen yet. The building system lets you construct persistent buildings and communities that remain in the world even when you're offline. You can collaborate with players from across the globe to create thriving settlements, or strike out alone to discover uncharted territories and establish your own homesteads. The structures you build are permanent fixtures in this shared fantasy world, meaning you're genuinely leaving your mark on a planet that everyone explores together. And about that fantasy setting, this isn't sci-fi like No Man's Sky. We're talking ancient Earth vibes with thick lore, mystery, and classic fantasy charm. The trailer shows dragons you can ride, wild beasts you can tame and mount, bipedal rabbits in jackets. Yes, really. And giant birds soaring over incredible landscapes. It's got that Valheim energy, but cranked up to planetary scale. Transportation and exploration are huge. You'll build customizable boats with crews to traverse real oceans. Hello Games confirmed they're using the same shipbuilding technology from No Man's Sky's latest update for Light No Fire's naval system. Set sail across vast seas and rivers, ride wild creatures through fantastical landscapes, fly dragons over undiscovered territories, or simply hike through diverse biomes, collecting rare resources and crafting legendary gear. The world is massively varied and dense, procedurally generated to ensure that exploring feels fresh and rewarding. You'll encounter unique enemies, valuable resources, and immersive biomes ranging from towering mountains to deep ocean trenches. And because it's all on one shared planet with other players, there's genuine excitement in wondering who will climb the tallest mountains, who will find the deepest sea. Hello Games has learned from No Man's Sky's journey. They've been working on Light No Fire for over 5 years already, and this time they're keeping the marketing cycle short to avoid the pre-release pitfalls of their previous title. They're aiming to deliver something special right out of the gate, bringing RPG depth to survival sandbox freedom. Whether you play solo offline to explore at your own pace, or team up with friends for cooperative adventures, Light No Fire is shaping up to be one of the most ambitious base building experiences on the horizon. It's not about being the hero, it's about carving out your life on an ancient Earth where survival is a constant fight and every discovery feels genuinely earned. Next on our countdown, Pax Dei takes base building to the next level. A fully player-driven medieval fantasy MMO where thousands of players build, craft, and shape an entire persistent world together. This is a social sandbox MMO inspired by the legends of medieval Europe, where myths are real, ghosts exist, and magic is unquestioned. The game spans around 300 square kilometers across 5 provinces with 40 unique home valleys for players to settle. Everything, and we mean everything, in the game is made by players. There are no NPC vendors, no pre-built cities, no quest hubs handing out gear. If you see it, a player crafted it. The building system is where Pax Dei truly shines. You can claim a plot of land and construct your home using hundreds of building pieces, creating everything from cozy cottages to massive fortresses. But here's the magic. You can combine plots with your clanmates to build entire villages, sprawling cities, or intimidating fortifications that reshape the landscape. The modular building system lets you design intricate structures, and you can even share your blueprints via Steam Workshop so other players can use your architectural genius. The world is divided between the relatively safe heartlands and the dangerous wilderness. In the heartlands, you'll find your home valley where you can build in peace, establish your crafting empire, and connect with the community. The wilderness is where things get spicy. Stronger enemies, rarer materials, contested resources, and eventually PvP conflict with rival clans over valuable territory. The crafting system is absurdly deep. We're talking hundreds of recipes across multiple disciplines: leatherworking, armor smithing, weaponsmithing, carpentry, tailoring, cooking, alchemy, and more. Here's the twist. Everyone can technically attempt to craft anything, but becoming a master crafter requires dedication and specialization. Your character builds actual skill through repeated crafting, meaning specialized craftsmen become invaluable to their clans and servers. The grind is real, but so is the economic power you wield when you're the go-to armor smith on your server. The player-driven economy is the heartbeat of Pax Dei. You can set up market stalls on your plot to showcase goods, crafted items, or rare resources. Trade with other players using gold you've earned from adventures. Every playstyle matters here. The gatherer, who spends hours collecting rare materials. The crafter, perfecting their recipes. The warrior, who brings back loot from dungeons. The trader, who connects supply and demand. All roles interconnect and complement each other. Combat and adventure balance the building. Explore mysterious ruins and hidden dungeons filled with treasures and challenges. Face everything from basilisks to demons in third-person combat. The further you venture from home, the stranger and more dangerous the world becomes. The glory and loot you bring back enriches your entire clan and unlocks advanced crafting materials you can't get anywhere else. The game features a Discord-powered chat system that keeps conversations going even outside the game. Want to check what what your Pax Dei friends are up to, just open Discord. You can also perform miracles by spending grace, granting powerful abilities and bonuses that aid your adventures or crafting. Built on Unreal Engine 5, the game is gorgeous. Light streams through forest canopies realistically, dungeons are suitably atmospheric, and the medieval fantasy world genuinely invites exploration. The developers are from studios like CCP Games, EVE Online, Blizzard, and Ubisoft, bringing serious MMO pedigree to the project. Now for the elephant in the room. Pax Dei uses an optional subscription model for premium membership. The base game gives you permanent access to all gameplay systems, all areas, dungeons, PvE, PvP, crafting, and building. You can join clans and use their plots, buy gear from other players, and experience the full game. Premium membership grants you plot tokens to claim and maintain your own land, plus XP boosts and bonus grace. It sparked controversy, but the developers argue it creates investment and prevents abandoned ghost towns that plague many sandbox MMOs. Pax Dei is built for players who love long-term projects and shared goals, gathering, crafting, and construction that pay off at village scale, with real stakes when you venture into dangerous territory. It's EVE Online meets Minecraft in a medieval fantasy wrapper, and if that sounds like your dream game, you owe it to yourself to check it out. Pushing higher up the rankings, DreamWorld takes the concept of limitless building to an entirely new dimension with one truly wild feature: AI-powered text to 3D object creation. This is a groundbreaking sandbox MMO where all players exist together on a single infinite server, not separate instances, not different shards, everyone building, exploring, and creating in one massive shared world. Think about that for a second. Thousands of players crafting their legacies in the same persistent universe. The building system is incredibly powerful and intuitive. You can copy and paste building pieces anywhere, create structures from any resource you collect, and the tools give you serious creative freedom. But here's where DreamWorld gets absolutely wild: the Dream Forge. You can literally type a text prompt and generate custom 3D models in-game. Want a specific decoration, a unique furniture piece, or something completely original that doesn't exist in the game? Just describe it and the AI brings it to life. It's like having a 3D modeling studio built directly into your survival game. The world itself is procedurally generated and infinite. You can explore for as long as you want and you'll always find something new. Diverse biomes are scattered throughout, each with unique resources, rare materials, and hidden secrets waiting to be discovered. You'll glide, climb, swim, ride, fly, or run through an ever-expanding landscape where the horizons literally never end. Combat and progression are deeply integrated. You'll face epic world bosses that require coordination and strategy to take down, using an array of weapons and spells. Farm resources, craft legendary gear, and tackle these massive encounters solo or with friends. The sense of scale when you're battling a titan alongside other players from around the globe is something else. Because everyone plays on one server, the social aspect is massive. You can easily team up with friends, join random players for boss fights, or simply stumble upon someone's incredible creation while exploring. The community aspect feels genuinely organic. You're not just playing alongside people, you're actively shaping a shared world together. DreamWorld is currently in alpha, which means it's rough around the edges, but the potential is enormous. The developers are actively updating and improving the game based on community feedback. They've described it as for builders by builders, and that philosophy shows in every system they're designing. If you've ever wanted to be part of a truly infinite sandbox where your creativity is only limited by your imagination, and where an AI assistant helps you build literally anything you can think of, DreamWorld might just be the most ambitious base building MMO on the horizon. Let's keep the momentum going with Guardians of the Wild Sky takes that concept skyward with a magical twist that'll make your builder heart soar. This is the survival crafting game you didn't know you needed. Imagine a vast world of floating islands spanning hundreds of kilometers through the clouds, where you can build everything from cozy cottages to elaborate flying castles. Yes, you read that right, castles that actually fly from island to island. It's coming from Blue Isle Studios, the folks behind Slender, The Arrival, and Valley, and they've clearly been cooking up something special. The building possibilities are genuinely endless. You're not limited to static structures on the ground. You can design your dream home in the skies, and then build mighty airships to command those very skies. The crafting system is deep, with hundreds of tools, weapons, and magical items to create. You can farm, fish, even in the clouds, cook, and set up entire production systems while floating thousands of feet above the world. But here's where it gets really interesting. Your airships aren't just transportation, they're mobile bases you customize and upgrade. You manage sails to control speed and maintain lift, or your ship will sink. And when the wind isn't cooperating, you can enter paddle mode to move in any direction at reduced speed. Later in the game, you can equip engines fueled by special Guardian types or manual fuel management. The strategic depth is real. Speaking of Guardians, these magical creatures are the heart of the experience. Think Palworld meets Sky Exploration, but with way more personality and depth. Each Guardian has unique abilities, traits, and actual personalities you discover by observing them. You'll capture, tame, and bond with these elemental beings, feeding, grooming, and caring for them until they become loyal companions. They fight alongside you, lend their work skills to your base or airship crew, and there's even a deep breeding system where you can combine traits and genetics to create powerful new Guardians tailored to your playstyle. The world is absolutely massive. Thousands of floating sky islands across diverse biomes, each teeming with wildlife ranging from deadly titans to the smallest butterflies. You'll explore ancient ruins, uncover hidden secrets, and brave shadowy caves and dungeons filled with dangerous cultist factions. Challenge massive titan and eternal beasts in ancient battle dromes for valuable loot, or just explore at your own pace in this dynamic world with day-night cycles, evolving weather patterns, and shifting climates. Play solo offline to learn the ropes and build your sky empire at your own pace, or jump into online co-op with up to 5 players, though you can. Customize servers for even more. Whether you're a builder or a fighter, there's room for every playstyle in the clouds. With over 100,000 wishlists already and closed playtesting underway, Guardians of the Wild Sky is shaping up to be one of the most ambitious survival crafting adventures of 2025. The question isn't whether you'll build a flying castle, it's how epic that castle is going to be. Leveling up to our next entry. Steel Ark takes survival in a completely different direction. Your entire base is a moving train. Set in a fractured world after a devastating technogenic collapse, you discover an abandoned train and transform it into your mobile fortress. This isn't just a vehicle, it's your base, your transport, your storage, and your safe zone all rolled into one industrial beast rumbling across the post-apocalyptic landscape. The train customization is where the magic happens. You can add carriages for labs, storage, or protection, and paint, decorate, and customize every aspect to survive in different environments. Heading into a radioactive zone, install radiation shields. Need to traverse toxic wastelands? Slap on some air filters. Each biome presents unique challenges, and your train needs to be ready for whatever the wasteland throws at you. But here's what sets Steel Ark apart. You're not just maintaining a mobile base, you're building an entire industrial empire on rails. Construct outposts and factories in strategic locations, then use a top-down planning mode from inside your train to lay out buildings, manage logistics, set train routes, and organize your entire base network. As your production scales up and becomes more complex, this bird's eye view keeps everything under control. It's like Factorio met the forest, had a baby, and that baby became a train conductor. You'll also build and restore railway infrastructure, constructing new networks from scratch to claim uncharted territory, repairing abandoned tracks, reviving dead stations, drilling tunnels through mountains, and bridging gaps to connect your growing empire. The entire wasteland becomes your canvas. Combat and survival are brutal. You'll face wild creatures, bandits, and deadly weather events. craft weapons, armor, and gadgets. Then build turrets and defenses to protect both your train and your outposts. As you progress, you'll unlock automation systems to handle large production chains, letting you focus on exploration and expansion rather than manually crafting every single component. The game supports up to 4 players in co-op, where you can split roles, explore together, and defend your train as a team. There are even WoW-style dungeons, short, intense 2 to 4 player raids with unique rewards that add structured challenges beyond the freeform survival gameplay. And for solo players, don't worry, you miss nothing story critical. Modding support is planned, so you'll be able to customize weapons, trains, buildings, and outfits, plus add entirely new content to personalize your experience. Steel Ark is shaping up to be that perfect blend of survival, automation, and base building, except your base has an engine and moves at 60 miles per hour. Breaking through to number 23. Anchor takes us beneath them in what might be the most ambitious underwater survival game yet. Picture this: a nuclear holocaust has wiped out the surface world, and humanity's only refuge is the ocean depths. You're part of a genetically engineered race designed to survive underwater, and now you've got to build a new life on the seafloor. This is Subnautica meets Rust in the best possible way. Anchor supports massive 150-player servers on a 16 square kilometer open world map that's absolutely enormous. The game features diverse underwater biomes, rocky areas, coral reefs, Arctic zones, each packed with resources, dangers, and opportunities. And here's the kicker: these servers are persistent and always on. Your base continues to exist and evolve even when you're offline, which means you're vulnerable to raids and environmental threats 24/7. No pressure, right? The base building is where things get really interesting. You'll construct, expand, and fortify underwater structures that serve as more than just shelter. They're your home, your fortress, and your lifeline. The crafting system is incredibly rich, letting you process ores, metals, shells, and more to create everything from primitive tools to advanced weaponry. We're talking hydro cannons, hydro precision rifles, obsidian knives, and crossbows. You'll build crafting stations, set up defenses, and create a self-sustaining underwater outpost. But what really sets Anchor apart is its dynamic ecosystem. The ocean is alive with predators and prey, and the game features an intelligent shark system where these apex hunters behave realistically. They're attracted to blood, hunt dynamically, and don't just mindlessly attack. If you're injured after a skirmish and bleeding out, lingering too long could turn you into a late-night snack. The tension is real. Combat happens both against the environment and other players. You'll engage in large-scale underwater battles, raid enemy bases to steal resources, and defend your own territory. Whether you're wielding melee weapons, spear guns, or firearms, every fight matters because death means losing your gear to whoever finds your corpse first. For those who prefer a more peaceful experience, there's a solo or co-op sandbox mode where you can explore and build without PvP, facing only the ocean's natural dangers and AI threats. It's perfect for base builders who just want to create their underwater paradise without constantly watching their backs. Anchor doesn't have a release date yet, but with Theorem's decade of experience in networking and multiplayer technology, this could be the underwater survival MMO we've been waiting for. If you've ever wanted to build an underwater empire while dodging sharks and rival players, this is the one to watch. Sailing into the next spot. Windrose takes you back to the age of piracy where the seas are yours to conquer, and every island is a potential homestead. This survival adventure combines the classic buildcraft survive formula with naval combat, boarding actions, and seamless ship-to-land gameplay. You start as a betrayed courier stranded in a mysterious world, but what begins as a survival story evolves into something epic involving ancient evils and supernatural forces. Here's where it shines for us builders. The building system welcomes newcomers with one-click slick blueprints and large modular pieces, but also offers veterans precision rotation, axis nudging, and preview mode for detailed construction. Players have already built entire Spanish and British-inspired mansions using the in-game systems, from humble shacks to grand estates. Turn your shelter into a fully operational outpost, recruit crew members to speed up harvesting and production, and watch your settlement grow into a living, breathing pirate haven. Your personal island is yours to cultivate indefinitely. A private space for solo play or co-op with friends, with planned features including wandering merchants, quest givers, and potential shipmates who arrive at your harbor. But it's not just about building. Unlike typical survival games, Windrose features a Souls-like inspired combat system with precise timing, smart dodging, and carefully placed attacks, complemented by gunpowder weapons like pistols and muskets. Face challenging bosses, master a vast arsenal of melee weapons and firearms, and put your loadouts to the test. The alpha offers 30 to 40 hours of gameplay across 3 unique biomes, multiple ships, ground and naval combat, and an early prototype of Tortuga social hub. Whether you sail solo or with up to 3 friends in co-op, Windrose promises that pirate fantasy we've been craving. And for those wondering, players are already calling it the skull and bones we actually wanted. Rising through the ranks, we've got Rising World, available in early access on PC via Steam. Rising World has been in development for over a decade, and the developers have spent that time creating what I genuinely believe is the most powerful, most flexible, and most satisfying building system in any survival game. Let me explain why this is number 1. Rising World uses a voxel-based building system combined with precision placement tools that give you creative freedom that's genuinely unmatched. You're not limited to preset building pieces. You can shape blocks, beams, planks, and cylinders at virtually any size and angle you want. Want a wall that's exactly 2.3 meters tall with a 15-degree slope? Done. Need a custom-sized beam to span a specific distance? No problem. The building materials system is incredibly deep. You've got different wood types: oak, pine, birch, each with unique textures. Stone varieties: granite, limestone, sandstone, metals, iron, steel, copper, glass, and even specialized materials like marble and concrete. Each material can be textured, painted, and shaped. The recent updates added even more material options and improved the textures to look stunning. But the real magic is in the construction blocks themselves. You've got planks for walls and floors, beams for structural support, cylinders for pillars and rounded elements, arcs for doorways and windows, wedges for roofs, and more. Every single block can be resized along all 3 axes and rotated in any direction. This means you can create architectural styles from any period or culture. Medieval castles with Gothic arches, Japanese temples with curved roofs, modern glass and steel buildings, Victorian mansions, log cabins, and literally anything else. The precision movement system lets you nudge blocks by tiny increments or snap them to a grid. You can offset blocks, overlap them for complex designs, and use different scaling to create intricate details. The building tools include surface alignment. Blocks automatically match the angle of whatever you're building on. Auto rotation and copy-paste functionality. See a complex design element you created, copy it, and place it elsewhere instantly. Rising World also has one of the best interior decoration systems I've seen. Hundreds of furniture items, decorations, and functional objects are available. We're talking complete kitchen sets with stoves, sinks, and refrigerators, bathroom fixtures with working toilets, bathtubs and showers, bedroom furniture with different bed styles, wardrobes and nightstands, workshop tools, paintings, and wall decorations, lighting fixtures from torches to chandeliers to modern lamps, plants and garden decorations, and even musical instruments like the piano I mentioned earlier that you can actually play. The game's crafting system ties into building beautifully. You need workbenches for different crafting categories, but you can build elaborate workshops and factories. The recent updates added machinery like sawmills and smithing equipment that can be incorporated into your builds. What really puts Rising World over the top is the sheer scale you can achieve. The procedurally generated worlds are massive, and there's no build limit. Want to build an entire medieval village with dozens of buildings? Go ahead. A sprawling castle complex with walls, towers, a keep, and surrounding settlements? Absolutely. A modern city with skyscrapers, roads, and infrastructure? It's possible. Players have built functioning schools, elaborate train stations, mansions that rival real architectural works, and even replicas of famous buildings. The cave systems add another dimension. You can build underground bases, excavate your own caverns, or create elaborate underground cities. The mining and terraforming tools let you shape the landscape itself, so you're not limited to building on existing terrain. The multiplayer aspect is fully supported, and the game has a thriving modding community. The plugin API lets developers add new features, and players share their creations constantly. The Steam Workshop integration means you can download complete buildings to place in your world, or share your own masterpieces. Rising World currently has 85% very positive reviews on Steam, and the community is incredibly supportive and creative. The developers are active, constantly adding new features, improving performance, and listening to feedback. They completely rewrote the game engine to improve performance and add even more capabilities, a move that could have alienated the community but was executed so well that players praised it. Now I should mention, Rising World is still in early access, and it shows in some areas. The survival elements are fairly basic. There aren't many hostile creatures, and the gameplay loop besides building is minimal, but that's kind of the point. This game is for people who want to build. The developers have stated they're adding more gameplay elements, but the building will always be the core focus. If you want complete creative freedom, the most powerful building tools available, and the ability to create literally anything you can imagine, from rustic cabins to massive castles to modern architectural marvels, Rising World is the game. This is the ultimate sandbox for builders, and it's #1 for a reason. Entering the top 20 now with Fallout 76, and from a base building perspective, this game has evolved into something really special. Available on PC, PlayStation 4 and 5, and Xbox One and Series X or S, Fallout 76's camp, construction and assembly mobile platform system has become one of the most feature-rich building systems in any online survival game. And with over 7 years of consistent updates since its 2018 launch, there's an absurd amount of building content here. Let's talk about what makes the CAMP system great. You can build practically anywhere in Appalachia and soon Ohio with the Burning Springs update. Your camp is portable. You can pack it up and move to new locations, which is incredibly convenient. The building system uses a modular snap-together approach where you're placing foundations, walls, roofs, stairs, and decorative elements to create structures limited only by your imagination and the build budget. The variety of building materials is staggering. You've got basic wood structures, metal buildings, brick walls, concrete foundations, prefab buildings, and dozens of themed building sets. There's contemporary, warehouse, log cabin, barn, and even atomic shop exclusive sets like Raider-themed structures, clean contemporary pieces, and holiday-themed items. Recent updates added the CAMP revamp with relaxed building rules, a completely reworked workshop menu, and item locking so other players can't accidentally scrap your stuff. But where Fallout 76 really excels is in the decorative depth. We're talking thousands of decoration items, furniture, lighting, wall decorations, floor decorations, workbenches, displays, neon signs, posters, rugs, plants, and collectibles. You can create themed builds, a cozy cabin with fireplaces and bookshelves, a high-tech laboratory with terminals and medical equipment, a bar or restaurant with brewing stations and seating areas, a museum displaying rare weapons and armor, or even a haunted house with spooky decorations. The game's shelter system adds even more building potential. Shelters are instanced underground spaces with their own separate build budgets, giving you essentially unlimited building space. There are different shelter types, utility rooms, atriums, lobbies, each with unique dimensions and purposes. Players have built incredible things in shelters, full restaurants with kitchens, elaborate maze-like dungeons, multi-room hotels, and even recreations of locations from other Fallout games. Fallout 76 also has a full electrical system. You can wire up generators to power lights, security systems, turrets, and even arcade machines. The game includes switches, pressure plates, and logic gates for creating automated systems. Players have built everything from functional light shows to complex Rube Goldberg machines to fully automated resource collectors. The crafting station integration is seamless. Your camp needs workbenches for armor, weapons, chemistry, cooking, and more. But you can hide these utilitarian items or incorporate them into your build's design. The game encourages both functional and aesthetic building. One of my favorite features is the ally system. You can can recruit NPCs to live at your camp, and they provide quests, dialogue, and life to your settlement. Combined with vendors and the recent addition of camp pets, your base becomes a living, breathing place rather than an empty shell. The community aspect is huge too. You can visit other players' camps, get inspiration, purchase items from their vendors, and even take photos with photo mode. The Fallout 76 community has built some absolutely incredible structures, replicas of real buildings, elaborate theme parks, floating sky bases, and even working factories. Now with December's Burning Springs update, we're getting even more. New building items tied to the Ohio Wasteland, new workshops, and continued expansion of the camp system. Bethesda has proven they're committed to making base building better with every update. Why isn't it number 1 then? Well, there is that pesky build budget that limits how much you can place. And while the variety is incredible, the actual building mechanics, the snapping, the placement can sometimes be finicky. But for pure content, variety, and the ability to create genuinely unique bases that other players can visit and appreciate, Fallout 76 is right up there with the best. Leaving the wasteland behind, let's explore.
Greenwood could become a thing of beauty. It is all very exciting to have a new lord in the realm.
Noble Legacy, and this medieval city builder puts you literally on the ground with your people while you construct an entire kingdom from rubble. Released into early access on Steam on August 12, 2025, Noble Legacy comes from Studio 369 and does something unique. It combines traditional city builder construction with third-person character control. You're not some distant god clicking buildings into existence. You're walking your kingdom's streets as the lord, physically overseeing construction and interacting with your villagers. The building system here is where things get really interesting. You've got 2 construction approaches, prefab buildings and completely custom structures. The prefab system includes over 100 pre-designed buildings, homes, workshops, taverns, guard towers, monuments, and more. These are fully detailed structures you can place and customize, which is perfect for quickly growing your settlement. But the custom building is where Noble Legacy truly shines. The modular construction system lets you build structures piece by piece, wall by wall, floor by floor. You're selecting foundation types, wall materials, wood, stone, brick, different window configurations, door styles, roofing options with multiple shapes and materials, and interior layouts. Want a 2-story tavern with a stone base and wooden upper floor? Build it. A massive castle with towers, battlements, and a great hall? It's possible. What's impressive is the level of detail in the decoration system. You're not just building structures, you're furnishing them. Every building can be customized with furniture, lighting, decorations, and functional items. Place tables and chairs in your tavern, beds in the inn, forges in the blacksmith, storage chests and warehouses, everything. The game even lets you choose the type of torches lighting up buildings. This granular control creates incredibly personal settlements. The city builder mechanics are deep too. You're managing resource production chains, lumber mills, stone quarries, farms, hunting lodges, fishing huts, and mines. These buildings need to be strategically placed based on resources, and you're creating supply chains where raw materials flow to processing buildings to create finished goods. Your villagers have different skills and preferences, and you're assigning them to roles that match their abilities. Noble Legacy also features a monument system where you construct structures of cultural importance. Statues, fountains, grand buildings that affect your settlement's development and villager happiness. These aren't just functional, they're about building a legacy, as the name suggests. The game includes a tile-based building menu that's being continually expanded with updates. You can create elaborate road networks with different paving types, build defensive walls around your settlement, construct farms with multiple crop types, and even design the layout of entire districts within your kingdom. There's also Steam Workshop support, so you can share your building designs or use templates from other players. Now, Noble Legacy is still in early access. It just launched a couple months ago and currently sits at 72% mostly positive reviews. Some players mentioned the combat needs work and there are bugs being ironed out, but the base building and city construction, that's solid. The developers are actively updating it based on community feedback, and they've already confirmed multiplayer co-op is coming, which will let you build kingdoms with friends. The game provides that satisfying arc of starting with ruins and basic structures, then gradually building your way up to a thriving medieval city with castles, marketplaces, residential districts, and grand monuments. If you've ever wanted to physically walk through a city you built from nothing, watching your villagers go about their lives in buildings you designed, Noble Legacy delivers that fantasy. Marching forward to Lens Island, a game that fully released from early access on June 19th, 2025, after almost 4 years of development, and the building system here is genuinely impressive. Available on PC via Steam, Lens Island is what happens when you take action RPG dungeon crawling, farming simulation, and open world exploration, then tie it all together with one of the most satisfying building systems in any survival game. It's currently sitting at 83% very positive reviews, and after playing it, I understand why. The building system is what the developers call a modular tile-based approach, and it's incredibly intuitive once you get the hang of it. Unlike games where you're just placing pre-made building pieces, Lens Island lets you customize structures at a granular level. You're placing individual floor tiles, wall sections, roof pieces, and then customizing them with different materials and styles. What I love is the freedom this system provides. Want to build a cozy cottage on the beach? Done. A massive castle on a mountain? Go for it. An elaborate multi-building compound with gardens, workshops, and warehouses? Absolutely. The building tools include snapping mechanics that make construction smooth, and you can rotate, raise, and position pieces with precision. The game features multiple building material tiers, starting with basic wood, progressing through stone, and eventually unlocking more advanced materials as you explore dungeons and progress through the story. Each material type has different textures and aesthetic properties, so you can create structures with unique looks. The Gothic building style DLC adds even more architectural options if you want to build dark, moody structures. But here's where it gets really good. The 1.0 full release in June added a completely revamped building system with even more flexibility. You can now build practically anywhere on the archipelago across multiple islands, create elevated structures on platforms, build underground rooms and cellars, and construct bridges connecting different areas. The recent update also improved the building UI and added structure templates that you can save and reuse. Interior decoration is robust too. You've got hundreds of furniture items, crafting stations, storage solutions, and decorative objects. The game has a comfort system where well-furnished homes provide buffs, encouraging you to actually decorate rather than just build empty shells. You can place crafting tables, furnaces, beds, chairs, paintings, plants, basically everything you need to make your base feel like an actual home. One of the coolest features is the Steam Workshop integration. You can design elaborate structures, save them as blueprints, and share them with the community, or download other players' designs and incorporate them into your world. This adds incredible value because you can learn from other builders or just find inspiration. The 1.0 release also added 8-player online co-op, so you can build together with friends. Imagine 7 friends all working on constructing a massive collaborative settlement. That's peak base building right there. The game's procedurally generated world means every playthrough offers new building locations and opportunities. And it's not just building for building's sake. Your base serves gameplay purposes. You need farms for food, workshops for crafting advanced gear, storage for the massive amounts of loot you'll gather from dungeons, and comfortable living spaces for the buff system. Everything you build has a purpose, which makes every structure feel meaningful. If you want a building system that balances freedom with structure, offers genuine progression, and exists in a beautiful, varied world with actual content to support your building habit, Lens Island absolutely delivers. It's the complete package. Setting sail to our next destination. StarRupture, and this one's for players who like their base building with a heavy dose of industrial automation and factory management. Coming to Steam Early Access on January 6, 2026 from Creepy Jar, the same team behind Green Hell, StarRupture takes the survival-based building formula and adds a Factorio-inspired twist. You're a prisoner on the planet Arcadia 7, forced to build factories and gather resources for faceless corporations, all while dealing with a star that periodically wipes the surface clean in apocalyptic ruptures. The base building here is all about industrial systems. You're not just constructing shelters, you're building entire automated production facilities. The game features complex resource chains where raw materials need to be processed through multiple stages. You'll set up mining drills on resource nodes, connect them with conveyor belts to processing facilities, smelt ores into usable materials, and automate production lines to craft everything you need. What makes this exciting is the scale you can achieve. You can build massive factories with multiple production lines running simultaneously, power grids using generators and power distributors, and storage systems to handle handle all your materials. The building system uses a modular approach where you're placing foundations, walls, and machinery in a way that creates efficient layouts. And because you can play with up to 4 friends in co-op, you can collaborate on building these enormous industrial complexes. But here's the twist. Remember those ruptures I mentioned? Periodically, the planet's star goes supernova and wipes the surface clean with fire and destruction. This creates a unique building challenge. You need to design bases that can either withstand the rupture or be quickly rebuilt after. There are underground areas and protective measures you can take, which adds strategic depth to base placement and construction. The game also features base defense elements because you're not alone on this planet. Hostile alien creatures attack your facilities, so you need to incorporate defensive structures into your builds. Walls, turrets, and defensive positions become essential parts of your industrial base design. Now, StarRupture did get pushed back from its original 2025 release date, which always raises some concerns, but the developers have been transparent about needing more polished time. They recently ran a successful 2-week playtest that generated a lot of positive buzz. The Unreal Engine 5 visuals look stunning. They actually traveled to Iceland to capture realistic harsh environment references, and the gameplay footage shows a really sophisticated building system. If you're into games like Satisfactory, Factorio, or Dyson Sphere Program, but you want it with a survival twist and co-op support, StarRupture is shaping up to be something special. The combination of factory building, automation, co-op play, and that ever-present threat of planetary destruction creates a unique pressure cooker building experience. Keep this one on your radar for early 2026. Touching down at number 16.
Save yourself. Survive the realms. And rebuild all that has been lost.
Nightingale, a game that combines Victorian gaslamp fantasy with estate building in the mysterious Fey realms. Currently in early access on PC via Steam and Epic Games Store since February 2024, Nightingale had a bit of a rocky launch, but the developers at Inflection Games have been steadily transforming it into something special. And from a base building perspective, this game has some genuinely unique ideas. The core concept is building estates, not just bases, but proper Victorian mansions and settlements using an elaborate tileset system. You're working with architectural pieces that actually snap together to form coherent structures. We're talking stone foundations, wooden frames, various wall types with wallpaper options, different roof styles, windows with actual glass panes, and doors with intricate designs. The aesthetic is pure Victorian elegance meets fantasy, and it's gorgeous. What sets Nightingale apart is the level of interior customization. You're not just building walls, you're decorating entire estates with functional furniture, workstations, storage solutions, and decorative items. The game has hundreds of building and crafting recipes, and you're encouraged to make your estate feel lived in. You can build libraries, bedrooms, workshops, kitchens, and even conservatories. The furniture isn't just for show either. Beds let you rest, chairs provide comfort bonuses, and different crafting stations are needed for progression. The building system also allows for impressive scale. You can create massive multi-story estates with balconies, towers, and courtyards. The tile sets include multiple architectural styles, so you can mix and match or keep everything uniform. One of the recent updates added even more building flexibility, including increased structure limits and improved building tools. Here's something cool. Nightingale now has an offline mode, which was a huge community request. You can build without needing an internet connection, which is perfect for those long building sessions. The game also features a comfort system where well-furnished, aesthetically pleasing estates provide actual gameplay bonuses. Now, I'll be real with you, Nightingale still has that early access feel in some areas. The game currently has mixed reviews on Steam at 68% positive, and some players feel the world can feel empty despite how beautiful it is. But from a pure base building standpoint, the estate system is one of the more elegant implementations I've seen. The Realms Rebuilt update that dropped earlier this year overhauled the progression system and added more structure to the building experience. If you're into building beautiful, detailed Victorian estates in a fantasy setting, and you don't mind supporting an early access game that's actively being improved, Nightingale offers something different. Plus, it was just free on Epic Games Store in October, so there's a fresh influx of players. The base building here is about creating a home that feels like a refuge from the dangerous Fey wilds, and it succeeds at that fantasy. Halfway through the top 30, here comes. Lost Rift drops you into a first-person survival shooter set on a mysterious archipelago. Picture this. You and up to 4 buddies wake up on a deserted island. You've got crafting benches, base modules, turrets, the works, your own little sanctuary. But once you're geared, it's time for the good stuff. Extraction runs into PvPvE zones. These are high-risk, high-reward, AI enemies, wild weather, and other players all gunning for the same loot. If you survive and extract, you get seriously good gear for your home base. It's forest meets hunt, showdown with a base building twist, plus dynamic storms and day-night cycles that can wreck your garden if you're not ready. The demo just dropped for Steam Next Fest and the playtest was lit. Early access is vibing with test waves, including me. If you're into survival games with real stakes and a team grind, Lost Rift's gonna be one to watch. Bridging the gap to we're heading to space with Astrometica, a game that takes base building to the final frontier. Currently in early access on PC via Steam since December 2024, Astrometica puts you in the role of a survivor from a mining station disaster, and you're building bases across asteroids and space stations in this beautiful, dangerous cosmos. The base building here is modular and three-dimensional in a way most games don't attempt. You're not building on flat ground, you're constructing on floating asteroids, inside abandoned stations, and across zero-gravity environments. The construction system uses a tile-based approach where you're placing floor tiles, wall sections, and connecting modules to create functional space habitats. What makes Astrometica special is how purposeful every structure needs to be. You're building airlocks that actually matter, oxygen generation rooms, solar panel arrays that need to face the sun, and pressurized living quarters. Your base isn't just for show, it's your life support system. You need to plan power distribution with cables and batteries, set up automated mining drills on resource-rich asteroids, and create storage facilities for all your materials. The game lets you build across multiple locations, so you can establish a main base on one asteroid and set up smaller outposts elsewhere. There's something incredibly satisfying about looking out from your custom-built space station and seeing another one of your bases floating in the distance. You can connect structures with corridors, create multi-level facilities, and even customize the interior with workbenches, research stations, and personal quarters. Now, I'll be honest, Astrometica is still in early access, and some players have mentioned the developer has been quiet lately with updates, which is always a concern. But what's there right now is genuinely impressive for a small team. The foundation is solid, and the core building mechanics work beautifully. You've got automated mining that feeds resources back to your main base, which is that satisfying factory building loop we all love. The visual design is gorgeous too. Watching your base light up against the darkness of space as you expand it piece by piece never gets old. If you're into sci-fi base building and want something different from the usual planet-based survival games, Astrometica offers a unique experience. Just go in knowing it's early access and set your expectations accordingly. For space-based building enthusiasts, this one's worth watching. Returning to Earth for Icarus, and this one has a unique twist on base building that some people love and others find frustrating, but hear me out on why it works. Available exclusively on PC via Steam, Icarus is a session-based survival game from the team at Rocketworks, the creators of DayZ. You're prospectors dropping onto this terraformed planet that went horribly wrong, and you've got limited time to build, gather resources, and extract before you lose everything. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, I lose my base? Yes and no. Here's the genius of it. There's two modes. In the mission-based mode, you're building temporary bases knowing they'll be gone, which actually creates this intense, focused building experience. You're not overthinking. You're building what you need to survive and complete objectives. But then there's there's Outpost Mode, where you build permanently, and that's where the real base building shines. The building system itself is incredibly detailed. You start with basic thatch and wood structures, but you can progress through stone, concrete, and eventually high-tech materials. The modular construction system lets you build everything from simple shelters to elaborate multi-story compounds with electricity, automated defenses, and even biodomes for farming. What I love is the engineering aspect. You can set up conveyor systems, automated ore processors, and complex power grids using solar panels and biofuel generators. Your base isn't just a house, it's a functioning industrial operation. Plus, the game supports up to 8 players in co-op, so you can build massive collaborative settlements. The building pieces snap together satisfyingly, and there's enough variety to create unique structures. You've got different wall types, window configurations, doors with actual locking mechanisms, and furniture that serves functional purposes. The game even simulates structural integrity, so you need to think about support beams and foundations. Icarus continues to get substantial updates. They just added new biomes and building sets with their recent expansions. The developers are actively adding more construction options, and the community is constantly showing off incredible base designs. Yeah, the session-based nature takes getting used to, but once you embrace it or switch to Outpost mode, you've got one of the more technically impressive building systems out there. The game's got that satisfying weight to construction that makes every completed building feel substantial. Now we're hitting our stride with Humanitz Z is a top-down, open-world survival game that throws you into a post-apocalyptic nightmare crawling with zombies, or Zeeks as the game calls them, and hostile NPCs who'll shoot you on sight. Unlike most zombie games where you're running around in first person, this one gives you that classic Project Zomboid perspective where you're looking down at the chaos. You'll scavenge for supplies, manage hunger and thirst, deal with infection, and most importantly for us base builders, construct fortified compounds to survive the night. And trust me, when those nightly raids hit, you're gonna want walls. Lots of them. Now here's where Humanitz gets interesting for the base building crowd. This game gives you true freeform construction. No pre-existing bases with fixed slots. No predetermined building locations. You can literally build anywhere on the map using a modular system of prefab pieces. Walls, floors, gates, crafting stations, storage containers, defensive structures. It's the kind of creative freedom that makes you dangerous once you understand the systems. The beauty of Humanitz is the dual approach to base building. Option 1. Find an existing building, a house, garage, fire station, storage facility, and fortify it. You can board up windows, reinforce doors, build walls around the perimeter, and turn any structure into your fortress. The game even lets you deconstruct debris inside buildings to clean them up. Option 2. Build from absolute scratch in an open field or parking lot. Personally, I prefer finding a strategic location with natural advantages, like a fenced compound or a storage facility with limited entry points, and building around it. Let's talk about the building system itself. Everything starts with wooden structures. You'll craft wooden walls, wooden gates, wooden floors. But here's the key mechanic that took me embarrassingly long to figure out. Once you place a wooden structure, you can upgrade it. Look at the right side of your screen after placing a wall, and you'll see upgrade options. Wooden wall becomes reinforced wall, becomes metal barbed wall. Same concept for gates and other defensive structures. This progression system means you're not locked into weak defenses early. You're building the foundation for an impenetrable fortress. The crafting station hierarchy is critical. You need a workbench as your first priority. This unlocks advanced crafting recipes and becomes the hub of your base operations. Then you want a campfire or cooking stove for food preparation. Chemistry station for medical crafting, crucial for dealing with blood plague infections. Table saw for processing logs into usable wood planks. Each station has specific recipes it unlocks, and positioning them efficiently in your base becomes part of the puzzle. Storage is where Humanitz differs from a lot of survival games. You can literally drop items on the ground and they won't despawn. I've seen players create organized loot piles by item type, clothes here, weapons there, car parts over there, but eventually you'll want proper storage. Weapon crates hold firearms. Storage lockers handle bulk items. And here's a pro tip, find a location near 8 storage lockers and a gun shop. Grid 3E in Arrington is community favorite for a reason. Defense isn't optional, it's survival. The game features RNG-based raids where zombies or hostile NPCs will attack your base at night, sometimes both back-to-back. You need layered defenses, outer perimeter walls with gates, barbed wire to slow attackers, spike traps at choke points, elevated positions for shooting down at threats. Some players get creative and use parked vehicles as mobile barricades. Others build elevated bases where storage and crafting stations sit on rooftops, completely out of reach. Vehicle integration is huge. Cars aren't just transportation, they're mobile storage units. The camper van has a built-in cooking stove. Trucks can haul logs, and parking vehicles strategically can block entry points without using materials. Plus, with the mechanic profession, you'll maintain vehicles significantly better, which matters when car parts are scarce. Resource production rounds out your base infrastructure. Rain collectors provide water, essential for survival, and some crafting recipes. Farms generate food daily. CB radios let you call in traders who sell car parts, weapons, medical supplies, and fuel. The trick is finding that balance between defense, production, and utility within your limited building materials. Base location strategy is endgame thinking. Fire stations offer multiple vehicle bays with limited entry points. Storage facilities have natural perimeter fencing. Garages provide easy access to car repair materials. And if you're on a PvP server, you want multiple layers of walls, hidden storage on elevated platforms, and your best gear in the hardest to reach spots. The metagame becomes optimizing for both PvE zombie hordes and PvP bandit raids. Single-player focused players build self-sufficient compounds with farming and water collection. Multiplayer raiders build compact, heavily fortified bases with minimal entry points. Nomadic players establish outposts across the map rather than one mega base. Humanitz proves that top-down perspective doesn't limit base building depth. When you combine freeform placement, upgradable structures, strategic location selection, and genuine raid threats, you get a survival game where your base is your lifeline. And when you finally perfect that multi-level fortress with reinforced metal walls, organized storage, full production capabilities, and kill zones at every entrance, that's the base building satisfaction we're all chasing. The survivors keep coming at number 11. SCUM is hardcore survival taken to the absolute extreme. We're talking metabolism simulation where you track calories, vitamins, and even your character's bowel movements. Complex medical systems where bullet wounds need proper treatment. Skill progression tied to actual attributes like strength and dexterity. This isn't your casual survival game. SCUM is a prison island battle royale meets DayZ-style survival simulator where every mechanic is designed to punish you for mistakes. And in this unforgiving environment, base building becomes your only sanctuary from the chaos. But here's what makes SCUM fascinating for base builders. It gives you genuine architectural freedom while forcing you to think like a military engineer. You're not just stacking walls, you're calculating structural stability, planning defensive positions, and building fortresses designed to withstand coordinated raids from organized squads. Everything starts with the flag. In SCUM, you can't build anything without first claiming territory. Place your flag, and a visible radius appears showing your buildable area. This flag does 3 critical things: prevents other players from building in your space, stops them from locking doors in your territory, and serves as a central repair station for your entire base using a toolbox. The flag is your sovereignty, which also means it's the #1 target for raiders, protected accordingly. Now here's where SCUM offers the strategic choice that defines your playstyle. Option 1. Find an existing building, an abandoned house, warehouse, military bunker, and fortify it. Claim the doors, board up weak points, build walls around the perimeter. Option 2. Build from absolute scratch using modular elements in an open field. Option 3, and this is what experienced players do: hybrid approach. Find a structure with good bones, claim it, then build modular extensions and defensive perimeters around it. The modular building system is where SCUM flexes its engineering muscles. You're working with foundations, walls, floors, stairs, door frames, and roofs that all snap together like Lego pieces. But unlike Lego, you can't just stack them randomly. Stability matters. You need proper foundations to support walls. You need support elements to build higher. The game literally calculates structural integrity based on what's underneath. Try building a 3-story metal fortress on wooden twig foundations. It'll collapse or simply simply won't let you build that high. Material hierarchy is critical. Twig is your starting material, cheap, fast, but weak. Wood is your standard mid-tier option. Metal provides serious protection. Concrete is endgame fortress level defense. But here's the genius mechanic. You don't build 3 separate walls for 3-layer defense anymore. Walls are upgradable. Build a basic wooden wall, then hold F and select upgrade. Fill the new blueprint with materials, metal scraps, cement bags, barbed wire, and boom, you've transformed that wooden wall into reinforced metal without rebuilding from scratch. Same goes for doors, door frames, and watchtowers. But there's a catch that balances the system: module limits. Solo players get 100 modular elements per flag. That's not a lot when you're building multi-story compounds with multiple rooms. Squads get higher limits based on member count, which creates this brilliant risk-reward dynamic. See a massive concrete fortress? You know there's gear for an entire team inside. Small base, probably a solo player's stash. Private servers can adjust limits, but the standard creates natural base scaling. Engineering and survival skills gate your building capabilities. You can't just spawn and start building concrete bunkers. You need to level these skills through gameplay, which means early bases are primitive and you gradually unlock better structures. It's progression that makes sense. You're learning to build better as you survive longer. Defensive strategy in SCUM is all about layers and choke points. Smart players build fortress-style compounds, main cabins and storage in the center, surrounded by multiple wall perimeters that upgrade from wood to metal to concrete. Watchtowers provide elevated firing positions. Barbed wire on the inside of walls prevents raiders from climbing over. Spike traps and explosives with motion sensors create kill zones. Then there's the airlock meta. Instead of single door entry, you build multiple doors with wall segments creating zigzag paths. This forces raiders to breach multiple layers, buying you time to respond. Advanced builders create peaks, intentional gaps in walls behind door frames where you can shoot at lockpickers without exposing yourself. Stack cabinets on cabin roofs for elevated cover positions during firefights. Here's the crucial mistake new players make: building walls at the edge of your flag radius. Don't do it. Raiders will build watchtowers just outside your boundary and jump over your walls. Always build walls well inside your territory, leaving a buffer zone. This single mistake has cost countless players their entire bases. Location strategy depends on server type and play style. PvP servers. Find areas with natural elevation advantages, limited approach vectors, proximity to loot, but not too close to high traffic areas. PvE, build near traders and resource-rich zones. Woodlands provide concealment. Flat areas give maximum buildable space, but zero natural defense. The meta game becomes squad coordination and resource management. Solo players build compact, heavily fortified boxes. Squads build sprawling compounds with specialized sections, armories, medical bays, vehicle garages, farming plots. The best bases have redundant storage in hidden locations because everything is raidable eventually. SCUM proves that realistic simulation mechanics don't limit base building creativity, they enhance it. When structural stability matters, when material choice affects defense, when territorial control requires strategic thinking, base building becomes genuine engineering. And when you finally hold off a 5-man raid squad because your layered defenses and tactical positioning were better than their numbers, that's the hardcore survival base building experience. Breaking into the top 10, let's go. State of Decay 2 isn't your typical zombie shooter. This is a hardcore survival sandbox where you're managing an entire community of survivors in a post-apocalyptic world. Every character is unique with their own skills, personalities, and backstories. You'll scavenge for supplies, fight off hordes of undead, recruit new survivors, and make brutal choices about who lives and who dies. It's part action game, part survival sim, and part community management strategy. And if you're like me and you live for base building games, this one's going to sink its hooks deep. Now, I've spent hundreds of hours in base builders, from RimWorld to Oxygen Not Included to Satisfactory. So when I tell you State of Decay 2's base building system is different, I mean it's fundamentally different from what you'd expect. There's no freeform construction here, no placing walls wherever you want or designing your perfect fortress from scratch. Instead, you're working with pre-existing locations scattered across the map. Abandoned houses, fire stations, warehouses, strip malls, even a massive container fort if you're lucky enough to find it. Here's how it actually works. Each base location comes with built-in facilities you can't change, and a set number of empty slots. These slots are categorized as small or large, indoor or outdoor, and that classification determines what you can build. A small outdoor slot, perfect for a garden or some basic beds. A large indoor slot, now we're talking workshops, infirmaries, or even a full auto shop for vehicle upgrades. And this is where the puzzle begins. Because unlike games where you can just spam farms and turrets until your PC catches fire, State of Decay 2 forces you to think strategically. You've got maybe 3 to 8 facility slots depending on your base size, and you need to cover everything. Food production, medical care, stamina recovery, crafting stations, resource generation, morale boosters, and defensive structures. It's like playing Tetris with your survival needs. Let me give you a real example. Your survivors are getting wrecked by Blood Plague, this game's signature infection mechanic. You need an infirmary, and you need it upgraded to craft plague cure samples. That's one large slot gone, plus it requires a survivor with medical knowledge to run efficiently. But wait, your people are exhausted and you only have 2 beds. You need a barracks, another large slot. Oh, and you're completely out of building materials because you've been crafting like crazy. Time to build a workshop so you can break down items into materials. That's your 3rd slot. See the problem? You haven't even touched food production, water supply, or ammunition crafting yet. What makes this system brilliant is the upgrade paths. Every facility has multiple tiers, and watching them evolve is incredibly satisfying. Start with a basic garden producing 1 food per day. Upgrade it to a farm with compost bins for 2 food daily. Max it out to hydroponics for 3 food plus medicinal herbs. Same concept applies to everything. Outdoor beds become sheltered beds, become barracks. Basic workshops become staging areas that eliminate facility maintenance costs entirely. The resource economy is equally tight. Building costs materials, upgrades cost materials and influence. The game's currency you earn through missions and community goals. Facilities have daily upkeep costs and resources. You can't just build everything and forget about it. You're constantly calculating, do I spend 150 influence upgrading my infirmary or relocating to a bigger base? Speaking of relocating, base progression is core to the experience. You start small with 3 or 4 slots, basically a starter home in the zombie apocalypse. As your community grows, you'll need to move up. Small bases cost 500 influence and need 3 survivors. Medium bases run 1,000 influence for 5 survivors. Large bases demand 1,500 influence and 6 survivors. And if you're going for the endgame massive bases, 3,500 influence and 8 survivors minimum. Each move is a major decision because you're dismantling your entire operation and rebuilding from scratch. But here's where it gets really interesting for min-maxers like us. Your leader choice unlocks exclusive facilities that completely change your base strategy. Choose a warlord leader and you get access to an armory that cranks out military-grade ammunition and explosives. Pick a trader and you unlock a trade depot generating passive influence and access to any trader type on demand. Sheriff, field hospital with passive healing for everyone. Builder, sniper towers providing radio support and covering fire during sieges. The metagame becomes figuring out optimal builds for different playstyles and difficulty levels. Speedrunners focus on influence generation and minimal infrastructure. Long-term players build self-sustaining communities with maxed facilities. Lethal difficulty players obsess over defensive structures and medical capacity because one mistake means permadeath. State of Decay 2 proves you don't need Minecraft-style creative freedom to create a deeply strategic base-building experience. Sometimes the best puzzles come from working within constraints, and when you finally optimize that perfect base layout, balance all your resources, and watch your community thrive in a world full of undead horrors, that's the base building magic we live for. The undead continue at number 9. DayZ is the godfather of hardcore survival, the original Arma 2 mod that spawned an entire genre and turned Bohemia Interactive into survival game royalty. This is brutal, unforgiving, permadeath survival where you can spend 40 hours gearing up only to get one-tapped by a sniper you never saw. Zombies are a threat, but players are the real danger. And in this cutthroat environment, base building wasn't even added until 2018. years after standalone launch. That tells you something important. DayZ isn't about settling down, it's about nomadic survival. But when you do build, you're making a statement. Here's what makes DayZ base building unique compared to every other game we've covered. Minimalism by design. You don't get modular building systems with foundations, walls, and roofs. You get fences, watchtowers, and the ability to barricade existing structures. That's it in vanilla. No custom compounds from scratch. No snapping floor pieces together. You're working with prefabricated fence kits and tower kits that you assemble section by section. It's deliberately limited, and that limitation creates interesting strategic choices. The fence is your primary building block. Craft a fence kit from 2 sticks and rope. Place it on the ground, bury 2 logs with a shovel to create the foundation. Then you build the frame. Upper and lower sections requiring 4 planks and 8 nails each. Finally, clad both sections with 5 planks and 10 nails per section. One complete fence panel demands 18 planks and 36 nails total. Now multiply that by however many panels you need for a perimeter. Resource gathering is the real grind in DayZ base building. Watchtowers follow similar logic but vertical. 3-story structures requiring fence kits, logs, planks, nails, and eventually metal sheets for the roof. Each level uses the same fence construction process. You're essentially stacking 3 fence sections on top of each other, adding platforms and stairs. The resource cost is massive, which is exactly why most DayZ players never build them. You need lumberyards, industrial areas, and massive time investment just for basic structures. Security comes down to combination locks, and this is where DayZ gets brutal. Vanilla offers 2 lock types: blue 3-digit locks with 1,000 combinations, and red 4-digit locks with 10,000 combinations. Here's the nightmare. You must dial the combination every single time you open a gate. No saved codes, no one-time entry like modded code locks. Stand there spinning dials while hoping nobody shoots you in the back. That 30-second vulnerability is why airlock design matters. Build gates inside barns so you can close exterior doors before unlocking your actual base entrance. But here's the cruel reality veteran players know. 3-digit locks can be brute forced in 10 to 15 minutes. 4-digit locks take 1 to 2 hours if someone's determined. Players start at 500 or 5,000 and work upward because most people pick numbers in the upper half. Birth years, sequential patterns, all crackable. Lockpicking isn't some advanced skill, it's patience and a notepad. Your base security relies entirely on concealment, not lock strength. Raiding mechanics favor attackers. Melee weapons work but take 60 to 90 minutes of constant hammering per wall. Firearms are faster but loud. You're announcing free loot here to the entire server. Plastic explosives, 2C4 charges destroy a metal wall instantly. Grenades, mines, claymores, all work but require tons of materials. The fastest raid method is cracking the lock, which is why 4-digit codes are mandatory, and even then you're vulnerable. This brings us to the fundamental DayZ base building philosophy: concealment over security. Build in dense forests, not near towns. Use camouflage netting religiously. Small footprints beat fortresses. Players describe bases so well hidden they couldn't find them at 100 feet, knowing exact coordinates. Elevation helps avoid sniper angles. Avoid high traffic areas completely. That church in the city center with 1 entrance. Terrible idea despite seeming defensible. Everyone checks churches for loot. The meta strategy? Many veterans don't build bases at all. Buried stashes in the woods, barrels hidden in bushes, tents camouflaged under trees, 0 visual profile, impossible to raid without stumbling across them randomly. The infinite backpack stacking glitch means dedicated nomads live out of vehicles, entire bases in a truck, completely mobile. When your base can drive away, raiders can't touch it. Modded servers completely transform the experience. Base Building Plus adds proper modular construction with rotation mechanics and new building parts. RA Base Building brings Rust-style building with garage doors, ladder hatches, compounds, 3 material tiers, and territory upkeep systems. Code lock mods replace vanilla combination locks with one-time entry systems and hacksaw raiding mechanics. Expansion adds comprehensive base building overhauls. Modded DayZ becomes a different game entirely, actually comparable to Rust or SCUM rather than minimal vanilla fortifications. But vanilla's minimalism is intentional design philosophy. DayZ is about tension and loss, bases you can't truly defend, locks that crack with patience, raids that succeed through determination. Everything is temporary, nothing is safe. That's the point. In most survival games, your base is sanctuary. In DayZ, it's just another thing you'll eventually lose. DayZ proves that limiting base building doesn't make survival less intense. It makes it more so. When your only options are fence panels and watchtowers, when locks crack with patience, when concealment is your only real defense, base building becomes high-stakes gambling. And when you log in after 3 days to find your gate combination picked and everything stolen, that's authentic DayZ, brutal, unforgiving, and why we keep coming back. Surviving into the top 8. Vain is what happens when someone asks, what if Project Zomboid was in first person with realistic graphics and taken to the absolute extreme? This is hardcore survival simulation where you're tracking not just hunger and thirst, but specific vitamin deficiencies, psychological stress, individual injuries that need proper treatment, and a skill system with 20 different abilities to level. The map is massive, a recreation of New York's Champlain Valley, with real towns, forests, and hundreds of buildings. And here's the kicker for us base builders. You don't build bases from scratch. You claim existing structures and fortify them into impenetrable fortresses. Let me explain why this approach is brilliant. Instead of spending hours placing individual wall pieces in an empty field, you're scouting real locations with strategic value. That fire station with 2 vehicle bays and roof access? Perfect. The High Noon Plaza with industrial freezers, flat roofs for solar panels, and on-site gas pumps? Endgame material. That island house accessible only by a single bridge? Natural choke point heaven. Vain turns base building into real estate strategy where location matters more than construction skill. Everything revolves around the utility cabinet. This is your land claim, your spawn blocker, and your auto repair station rolled into one craftable box. Place a UC in a building and an orange radius appears showing your buildable area. Within that radius, 3 critical things happen. Zombies stop spawning, container loot stops respawning, and any structures you build get automatically repaired as long as you feed the cabinet materials. Without a UC, you're just visiting. With a UC, you own the property. But here's the genius mechanic that makes Vain's system scalable. You can place multiple UCs. Want to claim that entire prison complex? Drop 6 or 7 cabinets throughout the buildings. Want to secure an entire island? Place enough UCs to blanket the area, then build a wall and gate at the bridge choke point. Each cabinet needs materials for maintenance: wood, metal, concrete, but the territorial control is absolute. No zombie spawns, no loot respawns, complete security within your claimed zones. The fortification system runs on 4 tiers, and understanding the progression is critical. Tier 1 is wood scrap, fast to build, breaks easily, vulnerable to everything. Think of it as temporary barricades for windows and doors. Tier 2 is fortified wood, significantly stronger, requires proper tools and materials, holds up against basic zombie hordes. Tier 3 is limestone brick. Now we're talking fortress construction. You're mining limestone, grinding it to powder, making concrete paste, and building structures that zombies can't touch. Tier 4 is scrap metal, endgame defense designed for PvP. Only explosives damage these fortifications. Building mechanics use a smart snapping system. Look at an existing fortification, fence, wall, barricade, and a new one appears positioned next to it. Mouse wheel rotates your placement. This lets you create perfect 90-degree corners and seamless defensive perimeters without measuring or guessing. The trick is building from high ground down to low ground for perfect horizontal alignment. Fences sink into terrain naturally, following the landscape while maintaining structural integrity. Storage strategy differs from typical survival games because you're working with existing buildings. Find that garage with tool cabinets? Those are yours now. Industrial freezers at the plaza. Stack them with preserved food that decays slower. You can build additional storage, crate shelves, barrels, weapon racks. But smart players utilize existing infrastructure first. Hang loaded weapons on walls for quick access during raids. Park vehicles in garages as mobile storage units. Use that professional kitchen for cooking stations. The progression curve pushes you toward better locations as you develop. Early game, any house with a door works. Mid game, fire stations and garages with vehicle bays and workshop space. Late game, massive compounds like the prison complex, the plaza with multiple buildings, or strategic islands with limited access points. Larger bases attract bigger hordes though, so expansion requires genuine defensive preparation. Here's what separates Vayne from other survival base builders: realism constraints that enhance gameplay. You can't build custom buildings because realistically pouring foundations and framing structures takes months with professional crews. Instead, you're doing what actual survivors would do, finding the best existing shelter and fortifying it with available materials. Boarding windows, reinforcing doors, building perimeter fences, creating safe zones within claimed territory. The metagame becomes location scouting and resource efficiency. Solo players find compact houses near loot and resources. Squads claim sprawling complexes with multiple UCs, creating interconnected safe zones. PvP players build on islands or elevated positions with controlled access points. Everyone's calculating proximity to resources, natural defenses, roof access for solar and farming, vehicle storage capacity, and expansion potential. Vayne proves that limiting building options doesn't limit strategic depth, it focuses it. When you can't build anywhere, every location decision matters. When fortifications require progression through material tiers, defense becomes genuine investment. When the utility cabinet system lets you claim entire neighborhoods by placing multiple units, base building scales from survival shelter to territorial control. And when you've transformed that dingy fire station into a fully operational compound with solar power, vehicle bays, farming plots, and tier 3 fortifications, that's the realistic survival base building experience that Project Zomboid fans have been waiting for. Lucky number 7 brings us Green Hell, and while it's known for being brutally realistic, its base building system is surprisingly satisfying in a primal back-to-basics kind of way. Available on PC via Steam, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, and Series XLS, and even Nintendo Switch, Green Hell puts you deep in the Amazon rainforest where you're building shelter from absolutely nothing. Now, the base building here isn't about elaborate castles or modern fortresses, it's about survival construction at its most fundamental. You're starting with stick frames and palm leaves, gradually unlocking mud walls, bamboo structures, and eventually more permanent stone foundations. What makes it work is how grounded everything feels. You're not magically snapping prefab buildings together. You're actually constructing walls piece by piece, choosing where support beams go, and watching your shelter take shape organically. The building system includes crafting stations that need to be strategically placed around your camp, water collectors, drying racks for food, and even gardens for sustainable living. You can build multiple structures and connect them, creating these authentic jungle compounds that feel earned. And here's the thing, because the environment is so hostile with its weather, diseases, and predators, there's genuine satisfaction in creating that safe haven where you can finally breathe. The game also features a bamboo construction set that unlocks later, letting you build more elaborate structures with elevated floors. Super important when floods and jaguars are concerned. You can customize your base with decorations, weapon racks, and storage solutions. It's not the most advanced building system on this list, but there's something deeply rewarding about the progression from a basic lean-to to a fortified jungle homestead. Green Hell proves that base building doesn't need to be complex to be satisfying. Sometimes the simple act of creating shelter in a hostile world is enough. If you want that Robinson Crusoe experience where every plank and every wall matters, this is your entry point. Escaping the jungle and diving into number 6. Most survival games give you land to build on. Raft gives you 4 foundation tiles floating in an infinite ocean with a man-eating shark circling underneath your base isn't anchored to terrain. It is your terrain. Every square foot of buildable space must be crafted from debris. You hook out of the water and the entire structure drifts endlessly across the sea. It's base building as pure survival, where expansion means collecting enough planks and plastic to literally grow your home one foundation at a time. The building hammer unlocks your construction system, letting you place foundations, walls, floors, roofs, pillars, and hundreds of building pieces using primarily planks, plastic, and nails. Foundations are your currency. Each one expands your raft's footprint horizontally, but here's the genius. You can build vertically too, stacking multiple floors to create towering ocean mansions without consuming more foundations. A 3x3 footprint can become a 3-story structure housing your water purifier, grill, research table, storage chests, crop plots, beehives, and living quarters. Space planning becomes an engineering puzzle where vertical construction solves horizontal limitations. Collection nets are your passive resource gatherers. Hang them from the sides of your raft and they'll automatically catch floating debris. They don't count toward your foundation total, so smart builders replace non-essential foundation tiles with nets to maximize collection area while minimizing the raft's weight. A 10x15 raft with strategic net placement can gather resources like a vessel twice its size while requiring fewer engines to move. Speaking of engines, once you unlock the steering wheel and engine blueprints from the Vasagatan story location, you gain full directional control. One engine pushes up to 100 foundations at slow speed. 2 engines move 100 to 200 foundations at moderate speed. 6 engines hit maximum speed regardless of raft size, though most builders run 2 to 3 engines for efficiency. Engines burn planks, 36 seconds per plank, or biofuel, 12 minutes per canister. Connect biofuel tanks via fuel pipes, and you've automated power distribution, keeping engines running for 48 minutes per tank without manual refueling. It's industrial logistics on a floating platform. Foundation armor is your defensive layer. The shark attacks your raft every 5 minutes, targeting outer foundations and dealing damage that costs resources to repair armor each outer foundation tile with metal ingots and nails, and the shark literally can't damage your raft anymore. Problem solved permanently. It's an upfront investment that eliminates a constant resource drain, and for long-term builders, it's non-negotiable. The research system gates progression beautifully. You start with basic survival tools, but unlocking advanced workbenches, crop plots, engines, recyclers, and battery chargers requires researching blueprints at the research table. You'll need to explore islands, dive reefs, and scavenge story locations to find new blueprints and materials. This ties base expansion directly to exploration. You can't build a self-sustaining farm without visiting islands for dirt and seeds. Can't power electric equipment without finding circuit boards and batteries. Can't refine biofuel without reaching Balboa Island's ranger station. Infrastructure planning becomes critical as your raft grows. Engines need biofuel refiners. Refiners need farms producing raw food, and beehives producing honey. Farms need irrigation systems and crop plots. Animals require pens and feeding stations. A fully functional late-game raft easily spans 30 to 40 foundations just for production infrastructure. Not counting living spaces or decoration anchors lets you stop anywhere to explore without your raft drifting away. Throwable anchors are single-use. Stationary anchors placed on 3x3 foundations are permanent solutions. What makes Raft's building system special is how mobility shapes every decision. Your base isn't static, it moves constantly unless anchored. You're not defending a fixed position, you're piloting a growing vessel through story locations while managing resources, production chains, and shark attacks. Building vertically conserves foundations for engines. Placing collection nets strategically maximizes passive gathering. Armoring foundations eliminates threats. Installing biofuel automation extends sailing range. There's no size limit except performance. Builders have created massive ocean fortresses with hundreds of foundations, multi-story complexes with themed rooms, floating farms, and industrial production facilities that dwarf the original 2x2 starting raft. The only constraint is imagination and the willingness to gather materials. For base builders who want survival mechanics that force creative problem solving, where every expansion decision matters because space itself is a resource you must create, Raft delivers an experience unlike anything else you're not building on the world. You're building the world, one plank at a time, while drifting toward the horizon. We've reached the top 5, starting strong with Imagine being shrunk to ant size in a massive suburban park where a discarded soda can becomes a skyscraper and grass blades tower overhead like redwoods. Grounded 2 takes the beloved backyard survival concept and explodes it into Brook Hollow Park, a sprawling 1992-era public space, nearly matching the entire first game's map size just in the starting zone. Base building isn't just construction here, it's tactical survival architecture, where elevation, resource proximity, and biome positioning determine whether you thrive or become bug food. The building system revolves around the resource analyzer found in Ranger outposts. Analyze every material you discover, bug parts, plant fibers, minerals, and you unlock new crafting recipes for structures, decorations, and equipment. This creates a progression loop where exploration directly expands your building options. Early game gives you grass walls and pebblet foundations. Mid-game unlocks clay brick structures and woven fiber roofs. Late game provides advanced materials like pinecone roofs and Tier 3 bug part constructions that require defeating formidable enemies. The coziness mechanic adds brilliant depth. Some advanced building recipes don't unlock through analysis. They unlock by achieving coziness levels in your base place furniture, decorations, and high-tier building parts to increase coziness, which gates access to premium structures and provides buffs while you're inside your base. It transforms building from purely functional to genuinely rewarding, encouraging you to create aesthetically pleasing homes that mechanically benefit gameplay. Location strategy is critical. Height provides natural defense. Most early threats are ground-based, so building on elevated platforms like rocks, giant baseballs, or table surfaces offers free protection from spiders and ants. Resource proximity matters because your needs evolve. Early bases need grass and pebblets within walking distance, while advanced bases require access to Tier 3 bug parts from dangerous biomes. Building near Ranger outposts gives free resource analyzer access and often unlimited water sources. Scout for hostile bug nests before settling. Constructing near spider dens or scorpion territories invites constant raids. The faction reactivity system makes defensive design essential. Kill too many bugs from a faction and you reach want you gone relationship status, triggering raids when you're near your bases. These aren't scripted events, they're random attacks where entire bug factions assault your structures. Smart builders create layered defenses, spike traps surrounding perimeters, elevated shooting platforms, reinforced walls from sturdy materials, and escape routes for emergencies. The game rewards tactical architecture where base layout directly impacts raid survivability. Building sets offer diverse aesthetic and functional options using different material combinations. Grass provides lightweight early structures, clay bricks offer mid-tier durability, woven fiber creates flexible designs. Each building set has distinct visual styles and structural properties, letting you customize bases to match biome themes or personal preferences while considering defensive capabilities. The workstation system structures your progression. Build essential crafting stations to unlock equipment tires, basic workbenches for starter gear, advanced stations for weapon modifications, specialized benches for armor crafting. Your base becomes a production hub where organized workstation placement streamlines crafting efficiency. Store materials in nearby containers organized by type, bug parts here, plant materials there, creating assembly line workflows. What makes Grounded 2's building special is how it integrates with mounted combat and exploration. Tame buggies, rideable insects like red ant soldiers, and orb weaver spiders that assist with resource gathering and base defense. Send your red ant to collect materials while you build. Position your orb weaver to defend against raids with web entanglements and stun screams. Buggies transform bases from static shelters into dynamic operational centers where your insect allies actively participate in construction and protection. Early access means nomadic building strategies work best initially. Create small outpost bases across Brook Hollow Park rather than one mega fortress place tarp shelters near resource hotspots. Build respawn points in dangerous biomes. Establish crafting stations at strategic locations. As you unlock better materials and understand biome threats, consolidate into permanent bases with comprehensive defenses and coziness optimizations. The building grid system provides precise construction placement. Snap structures to grids for clean alignment. Stack floors vertically to create multi-story bases. Use decorative paths, rock or stick, to improve navigation and visibility in snow. The upcoming roadmap promises base moving mechanics, watery base structures for aquatic biomes, and enhanced building materials alongside new equipment tiers. For base builders who want survival construction, where every placement decision affects defensibility, resource efficiency, and aesthetic progression, where you're not just building houses but creating fortified outposts in a world where you're the size of a pebble and everything wants to eat you. Grounded 2 delivers miniature-scale survival architecture that's genuinely grounded in tactical design. Your base isn't decoration, it's your lifeline in a park-sized wilderness where bugs rule and humans are just prey. Growing bigger as we hit number 4. Remember the Forest's clunky blueprint system where you placed ghosted structures and filled them with logs? Sons of the Forest said, what if we let players actually build, and introduced a freeform construction system that transforms base building from template placement into genuine carpentry? You're holding logs, sticks, and rocks manually, and the game gives you visual guidelines showing exactly where and how pieces connect. It's first-person construction that feels tactile, creative, and infinitely more flexible than its predecessor. The dual building system gives you 2 approaches. Press B to open your guidebook, and you're in the new freeform mode by default. A visual reference showing construction techniques while you place materials freely. Hold X to switch to classic mode, which brings back blueprint structures for quick shelters. Tarp tents requiring just a tarp and 2 sticks. Hunting shelters, small log cabins, lookout towers. Blueprints are perfect for fast survival setups when cannibals are closing in, but freeform building is where Sons of the Forest shines. Here's how manual construction works. Grab a log, your primary building material from felled trees, and white dashed guidelines appear showing placement options. Place 4 log stumps vertically to mark foundation corners. This levels uneven terrain automatically. Lay horizontal logs between vertical supports to create walls. Stack them 6 logs high, one more than the forest's 5 log walls, to build perimeter defenses. Place whole logs horizontally for roof beams, and the game shows moving arrows indicating orientation. Right-click to change laying direction. Split logs in half with your axe to fill gaps without wasting materials. Each placement triggers new dashed line prompts showing what you can add next. Doors, windows, stairs, reinforcements. Defensive structures are crucial because cannibals and mutants actively attack your base. Build defensive walls by placing vertical logs next to each other, then use your axe on the red dotted prompts at log tops to sharpen them into spikes. Sharpened defensive walls prevent enemies from climbing over. Regular walls can be scaled. Surround your base with stick structures adorned with body parts, crafted from, well, you know, to signal dominance and scare off potential attackers. Build log fences as perimeters. Install traps. Small animal traps for food, bone maker traps setting humanoids on fire, fly swatter traps for big game, hokey pokey traps with swinging spiked balls, lockable doors keep intruders out, elevated tree shelters, 2x2 log platforms attached to trees provide height advantage and safety. Reinforcement is critical for structural integrity. Strengthen wooden pillars by placing rocks or half logs diagonally at upper corners. Curved arrows appear showing reinforcement points. This increases durability against attacks and allows you to remove redundant interior pillars in larger buildings, creating open floor plans without losing stability. The guidebook shows reinforcement techniques for pillars, roofs, and foundations. Resource gathering becomes your primary activity. Logs are everything. You'll need hundreds for substantial bases. Chop trees with your axe. They fall in the direction you're facing, so aim carefully to avoid injury. Send Kelvin, your AI companion, to collect logs continuously while you build. Set up log collectors near construction sites to stockpile materials. Sticks, stones, and rope are found in camps, crash sites, and caves. Location matters strategically. Build near water sources for hydration, and fish forest clearings offer visibility to spot approaching threats. Mountain areas provide defensible high ground. Beach shores give open sight lines. Avoid the helicopter crash site and GPS markers. They attract cannibals. Best defensive location, build on non-freezing rivers where cannibals can't reach you easily. Multi-story construction uses vertical logs as supports and horizontal logs as floor layers. Build stairs by placing logs at angles. Guidelines show proper stair placement. Create interior rooms by partitioning walls, add doors by chopping holes into walls, hit red dotted lines with your axe, then place logs following prompts. Windows work similarly. Build fireplaces inside structures for heating and cooking. Rain catchers collect water, unusable during winter when they freeze. Standing planters and wall planters grow food from seeds during warm seasons. Utility buildings expand functionality. Storage units organize resources. Skull lamps light areas. Scarecrows prevent birds from stealing crops. Birdhouses passively collect feathers for arrows. The repair tool fixes structural damage after attacks. Minor damage repairs quickly, but total destruction requires complete rebuilds. What makes Sons of the Forest building special is how physical it feels. You're not clicking menus, you're holding logs, positioning them manually, watching dashed guidelines appear as you rotate pieces, hearing the thunk as materials snap into place. Split a log with your axe, and the other half flies off realistically. Drop it with G first to control where pieces land. Build a foundation on uneven ground and watch it adapt to terrain contours. Construct walls that actually block enemies. Create custom layouts impossible with blueprints. Angled roofs, multi-wing structures, fortified compounds with overlapping defenses. Your base evolves from a tarp tent on day 1 to a fortified compound with defensive perimeters, elevated platforms, secured storage, farming infrastructure, and living quarters. Kelvin can finish blueprint structures you start but can't do freeform construction. That creativity is all yours. Virginia, your other companion, doesn't build but will help defend for base builders who want survival construction that feels genuinely hands-on, where you're placing every log manually and seeing structures emerge from your physical labor while cannibals prowl the tree line waiting for nightfall. Sons of the Forest delivers primal satisfaction. Your shelter isn't spawned from a menu. You built it, log by log. The podium is in sight at number 3.
If this is to be the end, it will not be ours.
Most survival games bolt construction systems onto existing engines and call it good enough. Enshrouded built a proprietary voxel-based engine from scratch specifically for base building, treating construction as the core pillar rather than an afterthought. You're not snapping prefab panels together. You're manipulating true three-dimensional voxels, volumetric pixels that occupy actual space in the game world. Want to recreate the Eiffel Tower, build the Sphinx, carve underground dungeons into mountains? The voxel system says, go ahead, and the only limit is imagination, not engine constraints. The voxel manipulation is deceptively powerful. Each cubic meter voxel can be added, removed, or modified individually. Build block by block Minecraft style if you want absolute control over every detail, but that's tedious. Instead, use the construction hammer's prefabricated blueprints. 4-meter blocks for roughing out areas quickly, 2-meter blocks for standard construction, 1-meter blocks for detail work and filling gaps. These blueprints are collections of voxels placed simultaneously that seamlessly merge together, creating smooth surfaces rather than visible block seams. Place a wall blueprint and it automatically integrates with adjacent pieces. No fighting snap points. The contextual styling is brilliant. Cut a hole through a wall and the system automatically generates window frames around the opening. Doorways appear naturally. Edges round or sharpen based on surrounding geometry. Voxels aren't dumb cubes. They're smart building components that understand architectural context. You can refine any blueprint placement using single block voxel tools afterward, adding decorative trim, support beams, visible inside roofs, or custom-edged shapes that make structures look handcrafted rather than template stamped. Terraforming integrates fully with construction. The voxel-based terrain can be sculpted freely, dig cellars beneath bases, carve moats around fortifications, hollow out mountains for cave dwellings, raise hills for elevated strongholds. The land itself is buildable material. Prepare fertile soil for farming directly on your property. Create drainage channels, sculpt courtyards and pathways. Unlike games where terrain is static backdrop, Enshrouded's terrain is construction medium you manipulate as freely as building blocks. There's zero structural integrity system. This isn't Valheim where unsupported walls collapse. You're essentially in a three-dimensional paint program. Build floating sky castles with no foundation support. Create gravity-defying architecture. Start construction in mid-air by placing a floating block as scaffolding, hop onto it, and continue building vertically without touching ground. Practical builders use this for temporary platforms during construction. Creative builders make it their aesthetic. Either way, physics doesn't constrain design. The flame altar defines your building zone, a 40 by 40 by 40 meter cube extending equally in all directions from placement. Within this zone, you have complete construction freedom. The altar also serves as fast travel point, respawn location, and crafting hub. Place it strategically considering future expansion needs and proximity to resources. You can establish multiple altars across the map, creating networked bases connected via fast travel. Building UI prioritizes efficiency. Construction hammer in hand, press tab for the building menu showing all available blocks. Your toolbar displays selected blocks across the bottom. Alt plus scroll cycles through toolbar slots. Q plus scroll moves blocks closer or farther from your character for precise placement. Z plus scroll adjusts camera distance for detailed work. Left click places voxels, right click removes them. Press Y to undo the last 5 building or terraforming actions. Critical for fixing mistakes without manual removal. Resource management is straightforward. Building materials craft in lots of 100 blocks. When blocks merge during placement, total resource cost decreases. The system recognizes overlapping voxels and refunds excess materials. A counter beside your cursor shows blocks used and remaining resources, providing real-time feedback during construction. NPC integration makes bases functional beyond player housing. Rescue NPCs throughout the world and position them in your base. They won't offer full services until properly housed. Stick them in plain wooden boxes or design proper domiciles. Your choice NPCs provide crafting services, item trades, and progression unlocks. Your base becomes village infrastructure supporting 15+ cooperative players in multiplayer servers. The building variety enables architectural diversity. Craft rustic wooden shelters nestled in forests. Construct fortified stone castles towering over Embervale-designed Gothic skull fortresses. Build sprawling underground complexes. Create communal monuments in multiplayer. Shared constructions become testaments to collective effort where 16 players coordinate massive projects impossible solo. No PvP or raid mechanics means bases serve creative expression and functional housing without defensive pressure. Advanced techniques maximize creative control. Use different roof types against original roofs. Blocks won't merge, creating intentional gaps for decorative trim or exposed support beams. Place individual voxels directly on your hotbar for accent work without opening construction menus. Build scaffolding to reach elevated areas during construction. The seamless voxel integration means pieces flow together naturally, regardless of placement order or method. Combat and exploration complement construction. This isn't pure creative mode. Enshrouded blends survival crafting with ARPG combat. Clear enemy camps to unlock NPCs and loot. Progress through skill trees unrestricted by class limitations. Gather resources from biome-specific zones guarded by bosses. Your base provides respite between adventures while serving as crafting center, transforming gathered materials into better gear. For base builders who want voxel freedom without Minecraft's visual simplicity, where terraforming and construction use the same system, and where architectural ambition faces zero artificial limits from physics or structural mechanics. Enshrouded delivers creative sandbox construction at a scale and detail level few survival games attempt. Your base isn't just shelter, it's architectural statement proving what's possible when developers build entire engines around construction as core pillar rather than bolted on feature. But we're down to the final 2 titans. At number 2, Project Zomboid is the game that started it all for many of us. The isometric zombie survival game that's been in early access since 2013 and somehow still feels more complete than most finished survival games. This isn't a flashy 3D survival experience. It's top-down, methodical, and absolutely brutal. Permadeath is guaranteed. The question isn't if you'll die, but when. And in this unforgiving landscape, base building becomes the ultimate long-term project. You're not building to win, you're building because creating something permanent in a world of decay is what keeps you playing past day 100. What makes Project Zomboid's base building special is the complete creative freedom through the carpentry skill system. You're not working with prefab structures or modular snap-together pieces. You're placing individual wall sections, floor tiles, door frames, windows, stairs, everything built piece by piece. Want a 2-story compound with a rooftop farm and rain collection system? Build it. Want to fortify an existing warehouse into a multi-level fortress? Do it. Want to construct a bridge over water connecting 2 buildings? Absolutely possible. The only limits are your carpentry level and available materials. Carpentry progression gates your building capabilities in a way that feels natural. Level 0 lets you build basic wooden walls and barricade windows. Level 2 unlocks wooden doors and better walls. Level 4 gives you double doors and stronger structures. Level 6, the big milestone, unlocks stairs and rooftops, letting you build vertically. Level 7 gets you log walls, the strongest vanilla defense. Each level also improves construction speed and health of built objects. Starting as a carpenter occupation gives you massive advantage, but even without it, you're reading skill books and grinding XP by building practice walls. Materials are the constant grind. Planks and nails are your bread and butter. Nails spawn in warehouses, sheds, garages, toolboxes, but they're finite. You scavenge or dismantle furniture for more. Planks come from lumber piles or sawing logs with a handsaw. 1 tree equals 1 log. 1 log becomes 4 planks. You'll need hundreds. Then there's sheet metal for reinforced structures, hinges for doors, doorknobs, screws, various tools. The material economy in Project Zomboid is legitimate resource management, not the infinite crafting loops in other games. The genius of the system is the dual approach. Fortify existing structures or build from scratch. Most players start by claiming a house. Board windows with planks. Reinforce doors. Build interior walls to create safe rooms. Add sheet rope escape routes from upper floors. Then they expand outward, walling off yards, building garages for vehicles, creating perimeter fences. Eventually you're adding second stories to single floor houses, building watchtowers, constructing entire annexes, but dedicated builders go full custom. Find open land and construct from foundation up. Place wooden floor tiles for your footprint. Build walls section by section. Add door frames and hang doors. Construct stairs to a second level. Place floor tiles for the second story. Build walls and add a roof. Plumb rain barrels on the roof to sinks below for clean water. The isometric view makes complex multi-story structures challenging but deeply satisfying when you nail the design. Defense strategy revolves around layered protection. Wooden walls are your first line. Log walls at high carpentry levels become incredibly strong. Zombies will attack walls if they see you through windows or hear noise, so you board up windows and add curtains. Some players exploit the furniture fence glitch. Place a table or crate. Build fence in front of it. Zombies can't climb or break it. Others build elevated bases with knocked out stairs, though Build 41 made rope ladders destructible, changing that meta. The plumbing system adds another building dimension. Rain collector barrels on roofs connected to sinks below provide infinite clean water, essential for long-term survival. You're literally designing water filtration systems using game mechanics. Generators power your base once electricity shuts off, requiring fuel but enabling refrigerators, lights, and electric tools. Planning generator placement with fuel storage becomes architecture considerations. Location selection depends on playstyle. Louisville offers maximum loot but insane zombie density, veteran territory. Rosewood has fewer zombies, perfect for beginners, but limited resources. West Point and Muldra are middle ground options. Many players prefer rural farms with existing fencing and agricultural space. Some build deep in forests where zombie spawns are minimal, but resource runs require long trips. The community has pushed building to absurd levels. Players construct entire self-sufficient compounds with farms, workshops, medical bays, armories, vehicle garages, and living quarters. Some build replica structures from other media. Others make functioning towns in multiplayer servers. The debug mode lets you copy and paste tiles, enabling even more creative mega projects. After 10+ years of development, the building meta has evolved into legitimate architecture. And here's what keeps people coming back. Your base is your legacy. When you finally die, and you will die, that base remains. In multiplayer, other players discover it. In single player, you start a new character in the same world and can return to your creation, now overrun and decay. That impermanence makes every base meaningful. You're not building for stats or achievements. You're building because in a game about inevitable death, construction is defiance. Project Zomboid proves that isometric perspective doesn't limit base building depth. It enables enables it. When you give players piece-by-piece construction freedom, skill-based progression, and meaningful resource scarcity, base building becomes the endgame content. And when you finally stand on your rooftop farm overlooking your walled compound at sunset on day 200, watching zombies mill around outside your impenetrable walls, that's why we're still playing a game that's been in early access for over a decade, because the building is that good. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the game that dominated the competition, with a jaw-dropping 97% positive rating and over 122,000 glowing reviews, the undisputed champion of base building games, your number one is... Most Viking survival games give you axes and tell you to chop wood. Valheim hands you a hammer and says, prove you're worthy of Valhalla by building a mead hall Odin himself would envy. The building system uses realistic structural physics, where every beam, wall, and roof tile matters for stability. Your longhouse doesn't just shelter you from trolls and Draugr, it's architectural proof that you belong among the Norse gods. And when storms rage and enemies attack, poorly designed structures literally collapse under their own weight. The structural integrity system is brilliant and punishing. Every piece displays color-coded stability. Blue means grounded, touching terrain, 100% stable. Green is good, yellow is concerning, orange is risky, and red means it's about to break. Place a piece onto something fully red and it immediately collapses, dropping resources. Stability degrades the further pieces extend horizontally or vertically from grounded supports. Build a wall 6 blocks high unsupported. Watch it crumble. Each piece inherits maximum stability from what supports it. Add to something 50% stable, and your new piece caps at 50%. Weight matters. Stone walls hanging horizontally fail faster than wooden beams. The solution: vertical support beams, creating the shortest path to ground-raised terrain beneath structures using the hoe so foundations touch earth, maximizing base stability. Plant trees. Yes, trees function as ground for support purposes, enabling insanely tall constructions. Use core wood from pine trees for stronger structural pieces than regular wood from birch and beech. Stone provides even better durability once you unlock the stonecutter cross bracing with wooden beams distributes load, letting you build multi-story towers and suspended walkways that would otherwise collapse. Terrain manipulation is essential. The hoe levels uneven ground, preventing structural weaknesses from unbalanced foundations. The pickaxe removes rock for building sites, flatten areas completely before placing floor tiles. Half-embedded foundations cause asymmetric stability failures that ruin symmetrical buildings. Smart builders raise ground beneath structures, ensuring entire bases rest on blue stable foundations. Boulders count as terrain too, so intersecting them provides natural grounding points. Weather systems directly impact construction. Wooden pieces exposed to rain decay to 50% durability, developing rotting textures until repaired. The solution: proper roofing. Use actual roof tiles, not floor tiles repurposed as ceilings. Only real roof tiles protect from wind and weather. Build chimneys or roof openings for indoor campfires, angled to prevent rain entry while venting smoke. Smoke accumulation damages players over time, so ventilation isn't aesthetic, it's survival. The workbench radius system gates construction. You can only build within workbench range, and repairs require appropriate crafting stations nearby. Workbench for wood, stonecutter for stone. Place workbenches throughout your building site to extend construction zones. Advanced tip: hidden workbenches in perimeter walls or covered pits prevent enemy spawns in their radius, creating safe zones without visible clutter. Comfort mechanics reward interior design. Furniture like beds, benches, chairs, banners, and rugs increase comfort levels up to 17+, extending the rested buff duration, vital for stamina regeneration, to 24 minutes. A well-furnished mead hall isn't cosmetic, it's mechanical advantage. Use partitions and half walls to contain furniture without visual clutter. Place beds near campfires for spawn point functionality. Hide fireplaces and stone walls, preventing smoke damage while maintaining warmth. Defensive design matters critically. Enemies attack light sources and crafting stations aggressively. Build palisade walls with stake defenses around perimeters. Construct moats, forcing enemies into kill zones. Create watchtowers and archer positions with half-wall protection. Design multiple exits for emergency escapes. Hide valuable items in separate secured rooms in case main defenses breach. build on elevated terrain pillars. Most creatures can't scale steep walls, and minimizing terrain alteration improves FPS while providing natural defenses. Advanced techniques unlock creative freedom. Snap mechanics auto-align pieces for tight fits. Hold shift to disable snapping for custom angles. Stack chests vertically using 1x1 floor tiles as shelves, then destroy shelves. Chests hover indefinitely, quadrupling storage density. Use wood beams as snap points for outdoor flooring. Build recessed walls by placing doors for 3 snap points, using innermost points creating depth. Construct suspended platforms by placing 1-meter beams on floor edges, then 2-meter beams in front as supports for next tiles, avoiding dangerous balancing acts on high builds. Progression unlocks materials. Wood and thatch for starter structures, core wood for stronger builds, stone for fortifications, iron for reinforced construction, black metal for endgame bases. The cultivator plants crops and trees, enabling farm infrastructure. The forge processes bronze, iron, and other metals for advanced building components. Blast furnaces, kilns, and fermenters require dedicated crafting rooms as your base evolves from shelter to industrial complex. Viking aesthetics emerge through careful design. Traditional longhouses stretch 10 by 15 meters with internal campfires, cooking stations, beds aligned along walls, and roof beams hiding straw textures. Build on hills for visibility and prestige. Vikings displayed wealth through impressive hilltop structures visible from distances. Palisades with round edges, though they take rain damage without coverage. Mead halls with high ceilings, decorative shields, banners displaying faction colors, throne rooms, and treasure vaults. Dungeons for containing Grey Dwarfs, seriously. For base builders who want construction where physics actually matters. Where structural engineering determines whether your mead hall survives or collapses during the next troll raid. And where proving your worth to Norse gods means building architecture worthy of Valhalla. Valheim delivers Viking survival with genuine architectural stakes. Your longhouse isn't decoration, it's testament to your engineering skill, and Odin is watching. And there you have it, the definitive ranking of the top 30 base building games dominating the scene right now. Whether you're into survival horror, Viking adventures, or massive factory automation, there's something on this list for you. Which game are you playing? Drop a comment below and let me know if your favorite made the list. And if you haven't tried the top 5 yet, what are you waiting for? Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe for more gaming rankings, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. I'll catch you in the next one. Happy building, and I'll see you soon.